Now, I had every intention of doing a 26 for 2026 video where I would share all of my top books for the year 2026. However, I'm simply just too excited and have way more than 26 on my list. So I just can't do it. I have to do more than 26. So anywho, these are the books that I'm excited about for 2026. Oh, oops, I forgot to greet y'all. Well, hey, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope that you are finding joy wherever and however that you can. Again, I am so excited to share some of the books that I'm super excited about this year. I counted how many books were on my wish list and we're at 57. Now, not all of them made my top list. I'm so excited about all of them, but just not equally. So yeah, let's get into the ones that are at the top of my list that I should have gotten yesterday. Now, I'm going to be talking about these in no particular order. So first up, I have received some in the mail that I'm really excited about. And the first one we have is The Exes by Leodora Darlington. This is described as an explosive debut thriller packed with twists and a jaw-dropping finale, as well as a moving look at the truths we choose not to see, especially about ourselves. So yeah, this sounds super interesting. This was sent to me by Dutton, the good folks over at Dutton, so I'm really excited to dive into this one for sure. Next up is Sheer by Vanessa Lawrence, and this one sounded super interesting. It's described as, or it's told over 9 charged days, Sheer is the gripping tale of a controversial beauty mogul's insatiable ambition and the slippery ground between empowerment and abuse of power. I feel like, you know, anything that has to do with like beauty, I'm always like kind of interested in, and I like the cover on this one too, so very excited about this. I think this one's also from Dutton. Yep, good folks over at Dutton sent me this too. Next is The Shape of Dreams by April Reynolds. I'm super excited about this one. I love the cover. It's described as a trio of women bond in friendship as a neighborhood tries to seek justice from a system that has forgotten them. Everyone is struggling. Anita, Wanda, and Twin, the triad of this vibrant novel, are drawn into the neighborhood drug trap while a singer, a preacher, and the church ladies who follow him believe their dreams can shape a city. Will the three be able to break away from crack's dangerous allure? Will the Reverend's pressure on the authorities to find Tyrone's killer yield answers? Will justice come to East Harlem? In the end, during the New York Mets banner summer of 1986, this community will come together to mourn, fight for a better life, and shape their dreams as best as they can. So yeah, this sounds super interesting. I was able to get the audiobook from Penguin Random House, which I have started listening to, and so far I'm very drawn to the story, so I will update once I finish. Next is Nerve Damage by Anna Kira Stinson. This is described as a riotous revenge novel about a woman's quest to escape her stalker ex-boyfriend by stalking him herself. Like, I must know what she means by that. So I'm very interested in reading this one. This one comes out May 12th. I'll probably read it before then, if not at some point, and then I'll update as I go on my thoughts and how I feel about it. And last but not least, I feel super excited to have this arc. It was given to me by a friend, shout out to her, and that is The True Confessions of First Lady Freeman by Deisha Philyaw. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I have it. This book doesn't come out until September. This is not the final cover of it at all, but I love The Secret Lives of Church Ladies, and I just cannot wait to dive into this one. It's described as the wife of a popular and powerful megachurch pastor upends her charmed rags to Rolex life when her secretive past comes roaring into the spotlight in this much anticipated debut novel from Deisha Philyaw, author again of the short collection Secret Lives of Church Ladies. I think it's even funnier as I'm like reading about what it's about. I'm thinking about the Drewski video that he did with the church and all the backlash of that. I'm curious to see what that looks like potentially, or to further that conversation through this book and just what it's about. So yeah, I will absolutely not be waiting until September to read this one. So I will update you once I'm done. Now we're going to talk about the books that I don't have the physical copies of that I kind of needed like yesterday. First up is Kin by Tayari Jones, and if you don't know, Tayari Jones wrote American Marriage, which is one of those books that I consider to be a personal classic. So it's been quite a few years since she's written anything. So when the cover for Kin dropped, I was like, oh yeah, like I need it ASAP. So the book follows Annie and Bernice, aka Nisi, and they are both girls who have lost their mothers very young. So Bernice/Nisi was brought up by her aunt and Annie was brought up by her grandmother. The difference between them is Nisi's mom was sadly killed by her dad when she was a baby, and Annie's mom had her very young and kind of gave her to her grandmother and went on living her life. So they both have this like deep mother wound, and because they both share that, their relationship is from like since they were babies basically up until they're adults. They call each other cradle friends. It's so beautiful. Anyways, Nisi ends up taking one path by going to Spelman, and Annie is on the path of trying to find her mom and kind of heal that mother wound. Everyone has advised her against it, of course, but she's extremely determined. So the book kind of like takes us on both of their journeys and we get both of their point of views. I absolutely love this story. It was so beautiful, very funny. I definitely cried a few times. I think overall my takeaway is that just, friendship really can save our lives, and I think that was definitely portrayed in this book, as well as a lot of other things. I think Tayari does a really great job at characters. Like, you feel like these people are not only real, but their stories are extremely relatable, and that they could be your friend or they could be someone in your life or your family. So yeah, it's a really, really great book. I think it comes out in March. Oh, and as I'm talking about books that are coming out this year, authors have mentioned that it really helps for readers to pre-order their books. So if you are able to, I definitely recommend that if you find any of these books interesting, that you go ahead and give them a pre-order so that it can help these authors that we are talking about. Moving on, next is We've Been Here Before by Myrtle Henry Sadai. And just as a heads up, I'm reading these. I made a list on my laptop, so if you see me looking down, that's why. But yes, We've Been Here Before comes out on June 9th, and it's described or recommended for readers of Homegoing and Frying Plantain. It's described as a stirring intergenerational saga stretching from the Caribbean to Canada, where womanhood and mothering demands what the body wants to forget. Woven together with folklore and memory, We've Been Here Before begins with the childhood stories of Lisa Rose, who struggles with speech and coming of age in a community anchored in both West African spirituality and the Catholic Church. Lisa Rose must choose either to follow the ancestral ways of her father, who is spiritually bound to the sea, or her mother, who has rooted herself in Catholicism. The path of her life changes, however, after an encounter with a shape-shifting figure from the village. I mean, does that not sound interesting? I'm really curious about how the character is going to navigate such very different spaces of spirituality, on very separate ends of the spectrum for sure. I also like the West African spirituality / Caribbean storyline to it, and the cover is beautiful, as you can see. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. It doesn't come out till June. Next is The Heirs by Farida Abike Iyimide. She wrote Ace of Spades, and I'm forgetting what the book that she wrote after that is called, which is not a good sign. I feel like I liked it though. I can't remember the title right now, but she wrote Ace of Spades. I think that's like her most popular book. But this one comes out on June 2nd, and it's described as a mystery about 5 teen geniuses, their billionaire father, and the aftermath of his murder. Perfect for fans of The Inheritance Games, Umbrella Academy, and Knives Out. I mean, it sounds really interesting. Again, I do judge a book by its cover. I don't know what that says about me, and I do enjoy this cover a lot. I do love it. So yeah, I'm very excited to read about just what this is going to be. I love Knives Out, and I think I'm looking forward to having books that kind of reflect that. So next up is This Ain't Our First Rodeo by Liara Tamani. This comes out on February 3rd, actually, so soon. It's described as when life lassos Josie and Sean back together 3 years after their dreamy first date, their second chance at love is anything but easy. A big-hearted rodeo romance set in Houston, Texas by the critically acclaimed Liara Tamani. This love story is for fans of Nothing Like the Movies and Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. This is another book that I have actually already read, and I'll be in conversation with Liara Tamani here in Houston on February 6th, and it's low-key a party, so we'll be talking briefly, but we're going to be line dancing, there's going to be food, there's going to be drinks. I'm super excited. I love the rodeo, so I absolutely love this book. We start at the rodeo, and the rodeo starts here in Houston, I think end of February, early March. So it just kind of got me really excited to attend this year. So Josie and Sean actually meet at the rodeo. Something scary kind of happens to Josie, and Sean saves the day. And from there, they kind of take the time to just explore the carnival side of the rodeo, and it's super cute. They eat rodeo food, they go on the Ferris wheel, but then her parents come in and kind of scoop her away before she's able to give him her number. So then 3 years later, he is bull riding at the rodeo and she sees him, and she's taking it as an opportunity for them to reconnect. Love the story. I thought it was super cute. Very Southern, very Houston. It made me feel very proud of my city, and I always love reading books about that. So yeah, that comes out February 3rd if you are interested. Next is The Bridge Back to You by Rhys M. Nielsen, who wrote A Love Like the Sun, and I absolutely loved that book. So I'm super excited to read this one. It comes out on March 31st, and it's described as exes discover they've both inherited the restaurant they love in this sparkling, emotional new novel from USA Today bestselling author of A Love Like the Sun. And it's also blurred by Emily Henry, which super cool for Rhys. And she describes it as that Rhys M. Nielsen writes tender, vibrant, breath-stealing romance. I think that pretty much sums it up. A Love Like the Sun is a really beautiful book. If you have not read it, I highly recommend. So I'm really excited to see how this turns out, because I can't imagine you having an ex and then all of a sudden you've been willed a restaurant and you have to share the restaurant with your ex. Sounds like complications to arise. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one. And again, another beautiful cover. Next is The Flower Bearers by Rachel Eliza Griffiths. I have actually already read this one. Well, I listened to it on audiobook through Penguin Random House. It's read by the author. This memoir is absolutely beautiful. It's gut-wrenching, it's heavy, it's necessary. I think a lot of people will feel seen and also potentially heal a lot of their own things by listening or reading it. Let me give a quick description. On September 24th, 2021, Rachel Eliza Griffiths married her husband, the novelist Salman Rushdie. On the same day, hundreds of miles away, Griffiths' closest friend and chosen sister, the poet Camila Aisha Moon, who was expected to speak at the wedding, died suddenly. 11 months later, as Griffiths attempted to piece together her life as a newlywed with heartbreak in one hand and immense love in the other, a brutal attack nearly killed her husband. As trauma compounded trauma, Griffiths realized in order to survive her grief, she would need to mourn not only her friend, but the woman she had been on her wedding day, a woman who had also died that day. As you can see, this is a heavier one. It is a memoir, and Rachel Eliza Griffiths is also a poet, and something about poets writing memoirs or just writing in general is always so beautiful to me, and I think it's even more beautiful that she reads the audiobook. But you know, Rachel kind of walks us through this day, which is her wedding day / the day that her best friend died, and we get to see their story of how they met and how their friendship grew and how it blossomed, and all of the things that Rachel maybe was afraid to share with people, she was able to share with this friend. They had a bond that was really just, I think, divine in a lot of different ways. They had a lot of just kind of coincidences that it seemed like they were meant to be friends. And I found that to be really beautiful. Another theme of like friendship saving us and saving our lives is definitely the main theme of this book for sure. Rachel also goes into detail about her mental health journey, which I found to be one, really beautiful. She's unflinching in talking about the lows and the highs and the things that she's experienced. She also talks about her diagnosis and talks about hospitalization and just all of the things that she has had to learn about herself and has had to heal, and I'm sure is still in the process of healing. So yeah, I really I feel like enjoyed is like a weird word to say. I found myself unable to stop reading this book when I ended up reading and listening at the same time. I spent the whole day with it because I just kind of felt like I was in Rachel's world for a bit, and just being able to be and bear witness to her life felt really beautiful and special. So I definitely recommend it. Again, it is a bit of a heavier one, but I think it's a beautiful exploration of just what it's like to be human. So yeah, recommend that one too. Next is The Art of Loving You by Natasha Bishop. Natasha Bishop wrote Only for the Weak, and if you've read that, then I'm sure it's a book that you love. I mean, I don't know anybody that doesn't love that book personally. But The Art of Loving You comes out April 14th, and it's described as, or it's the second book in Natasha Bishop's The Forever Falling series, so Only for the Weak and then this one. And it's featuring an intimate bucket list road trip, sexy banter, and a sweet and spicy second chance romance. I personally love second chance romances. I think they're so special and sweet. I know a lot of people hate them, but for me, that's one of my favorite tropes. So I'm super excited. Again, another beautiful cover. I mean, what else do you need for But yeah, very much so looking forward to that. Next is Leave Your Mess at Home. And when I saw this cover, it stopped me. I was like, oh wow, I need to know what this is about immediately. So Leave Your Mess at Home is by Tolani Akinola, and it comes out April 14th. And it's described as a warm, smart, hilarious, delicious, riveting debut about the uncomfortable, unbreakable ties of family as 4 adult siblings come home to confront the state of their own lives and each other. Also, what I found to be interesting is in the blurbs, Tolani was able to get Chinelo Okbaranta, who wrote Under the Udala Trees, which to me, again, is a personal classic. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this book must be fantastic. So Chinelo's blurb is, in Leave Your Mess at Home, all hell breaks hilariously and heartbreaking loose for the Longa family before the healing finally crawls in. This one is for you, for every one of us. Familial estrangement, the trials and tribulations of assimilation, devious deacons, a mother's betrayal, the pain of complicity, the cost of perfectionism, the relief of reconciliation. Whatever your jam, you will find it in this novel. I mean, what else do you need to be excited about the book, right? Like, I needed Leave Your Mess at Home yesterday. I'm hoping to get it hopefully soon, but I'm also very excited to wait till April to read it. But yeah, again, beautiful cover. I was completely drawn to it. I love family stories, as y'all know. So this is right up my alley and I can't wait to read it. All right, I personally screamed when I saw the cover for this one. This is 7th Period Girl by Joya Goffney. Joya Goffney wrote Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry, which again is another book that's near and dear to me. This book comes out October 6th, so we've got some time before we get to it, but it's described as a riveting YA romance novel about a book-smart wallflower who suddenly wins the attention of the school hottie, but only during 7th period. Perfect for fans of the hit rom-com John Tucker Must Die and filled with Joya's signature humor, complex characters, and searing romance. I am so excited. Beautiful cover. Love Joya Goffney's writing. I mean, I think we're in for a treat, so fall can't come fast enough, I think. Next is Don't Tell Me How It Ends by Adrienne Thurman. This comes out April 14th. It's described as a floundering 20-something whose sworn-off romance finds herself roped into her meddling sister's matchmaking business in the sparkling debut rom-com that asks, can we protect ourselves while falling in love? I think it's very sweet. I do like the cover. Y'all know I love a good romance, and I think this one is going to be good. I have the e-arc of it and hoping to find some time to start it soon, so I'll keep you updated. Next is Struck Speechless by Tati Richardson. This is the second book in what is called the Boss Chicks Village series. So Losing Sight was the first one, and this will be the second one. I read Losing Sight last year. Absolutely loved it. Thought it was super sweet, very fun. Yeah, and it was kind of different. I didn't really expect a lot of the things that happened, but I enjoyed it. Struck Speechless is described as sports agent Jackie Miles is a petite powerhouse who has built her empire on killer instincts, designer stilettos, and tough skin. Her client roster is legendary, her temper is hotter than Georgia asphalt, and aside from her French bulldog Pee-wee and her boss chick Village, she's perfectly content flying solo. Then Antonio Steele walks back into her life and all hell breaks loose. The towering former football star turned rival agent has always known exactly which buttons to push. Just when Jackie thinks she can handle their explosive chemistry and complicated past, she mysteriously loses her voice. But this isn't ordinary laryngitis. A cryptic stranger's message implies that Jackie must quiet her tongue and listen with her heart to lift whatever spell she's under. With a career-defining client trip to Mexico looming and only the devastatingly handsome Antonio's backup, Jackie must learn to let go if only she could trust him to catch her. I'm very excited for this one. I think the cover is also super sweet. I like Tati Richardson's writing, so yeah, looking forward to it. Next, I don't even really have to introduce this one. That is Score by Kennedy Ryan. It's the second book after Real, which is my personal favorite book, I think. Yeah, Real is my #1 favorite book by Kennedy Ryan, so to say that I'm excited for Score would be a gross understatement. Score comes out May 19th. Needed this also yesterday, just saying. But it's described as a scorching second chance romance between a talented screenwriter and a phenomenal musician from a fantastic storyteller and superb writer. That's all you need to know. Once I get this book, I will be out of commission until I'm done, and I can't wait. I'm so excited. Next is another book that I am extremely excited about, and that is Big Girl Blitz by Danielle Allen. This is the third book in the Curvy Girl series. It comes out April 14th. April 14th is shaping up to be a really good pub day. Need to get my coins together. Anywho, it's described as, because life's too short and mean girls ain't Jasmine Payne fled her hometown and the fat phobes who made her life hell the minute she graduated high school. Growing up, her haven was her Aunt Addison, and when her health takes a drastic turn, she insists that Jazz should spice up her life, emphasis on spice. Interesting. But dating is the last thing Jazz had on her mind. until Lamar Anderson sits next to her at the local sports bar. He is sexy, fun, and refreshingly drama-free. With him, she's able to pretend that everything is alright, but as real life intrudes, Jazz has to decide if she can leave the past where it belongs for a love that she deserves. I don't know, like, I'm so excited. I feel like it's gonna be so good. We really don't know much about Jazz. So in the first two books, like it's three friends and we kind of like know a little bit about her, but she's not super present because she is helping her aunt who is sick. So that's kind of the story with her. So I'm really excited to get to know her and also for this love story that she deserves just from the blurb. So yeah, looking forward to that. Next is With Love from Harlem by Rashonda Tate. This one comes out January 27th. So it's probably already out by the time you're seeing this video, and it's described as a new novel inspired by beloved Harlem jazz performer Hazel Scott and the equal parts exhilarating and tumultuous relationship that changed the course of her life. Super excited. I always say that I'm not a historical fiction girl, and I think that that's changing. I've actually been reading a lot of historical fiction lately and I'm having a really good time. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I have the audiobook already. So yeah, I'm gonna start it at some point and I'll update y'all, of course, if I like it. Next is Love by the Book by Jessica George, and it comes out April 7th. I have also already read this one. I could not help myself. If you've been here or if you've been following me just in general, you'll know that Mame was such a good book for me. I loved Mame. So when I saw that Jessica George was dropping this one, I was like, oh, I need it immediately. So I was able to listen to the audiobook through NetGalley and getting it from the publisher in that way. So yeah, it is such a beautiful book. Another book about friendship. I think friendship is a big theme for books this year. I don't know. We'll see. So the book starts with Remy, who has this big group of friends, and she's an author. So she wrote a book about that group of friends and it did very well. And now it's time for her to write another book, and she's feeling very stressed and anxious, of course, about like what to write about. She's having some writer's block, and with the success of her first book, she's nervous about the second one, naturally. And one day she is at an author talk and she runs into a girl that she went to school with, and they never were friends growing up, but she just found it to be kind of coincidental that they're meeting in this way, which like made my little heart like jump. Like I've met so many of my friends actually at bookstores or at book events, so this was very special to me. Anywho, they're meeting at this point where Remy's friend group they're all taking different paths in life. So one friend is expanding a family, another friend is moving to New York, they're in the UK, is moving to New York for a job, and another one is just kind of trying to figure out life, and she's in a relationship that kind of seems like it's all consuming. So Remy is experiencing a lot of loneliness, and then she bumps into Simone and she's like, maybe I could start a friendship with this person. Like we already kind of have history, like why not? Simone, on the other hand, is someone that spends a lot of time by herself. She is estranged from her family, and we don't really know why until we get further into the book. She's a teacher, but she's also a sex worker at night, or not at night, but just on the side. And that's how she's able to kind of like live the life that she feels comfortable in. So as you can see, Remy and Simone are very different. Remy's kind of like, she wants to be friends. She's very eager for friendship, and Simone is very closed off and a little bit more guarded, and we find out why as the book progresses. But what I enjoyed about this book was it's written like a romance, but the romance is the friendship. And I just found that to be so beautiful because again, friendship can save our lives. And this book is a great example of that. I thought the writing was beautiful. The exploration of friendship was stunning. There's also themes of motherhood that are woven in that I found to be really beautiful. There's, of course, conversations around sex work that I think the author handled really, really intentionally, and it wasn't in like a glamorizing type of way. And I found that to be really special as well too. So yeah, Jessica George is 2 for 2 for me. I think phenomenal writer. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I highly recommend that you put that one on your list for sure. Next is The Johnson 4 by Christina Hammonds Reed. It comes out February 3rd, so soon, and it's described as a 1960s teen pop group determined to conquer the music world, must contend with the cost of fame and a ghost with a grisly past. In this riveting family story from the New York Times bestselling author of The Black Kids. Again, I was really drawn by the cover. I'm also interested in the story too, especially because I guess, I'm a historical fiction girl all of a sudden. So yeah, very much so looking forward to this one too. Next is Winners Dreamers and Liars by Alima Omotoni. And this one I'm super excited about. Again, the cover really drew me in. However, I did also read Everyone's Thinking It. I think that came out in 2024 and I enjoyed that one too. So I'm really excited to see what Alima has written next. But this one is described as Knives Out, again, meets Death at Morning House in this thrilling standalone mystery layered with family secrets, the whitewashing of history, and a high-stakes literary competition for the keys to a Victorian-era English estate. Curious, you know, another Knives Out reference, which I'm like, okay, is that like a big thing in YA? Is that another theme that I'm picking up on? Not sure, but again, I'm looking forward to this one. It comes out June 30th, so hopefully I'll read it around that time. We'll see, but I'll update y'all regardless. Next is If I Ruled the World by Amy Dubois Barnett. Hope I'm saying that right. And this one comes out January 27th, so by the time you see this one, it'll probably be out. I also actually listened to this one as well a few weeks ago, I think, at this point. And we follow Nikki, who works in the magazine industry. It's 1990s New York, and she has this relationship, I'm using that very loosely, with a boss of hers, really. And we quickly see that it is like there's some power stuff there. It's predatory. Not so great. The boss ends up getting fired because somebody reported him for misconduct. He thinks it's Nikki, but it's not. And he made it a vow to basically ruin her name in the industry so that she's not able to live out her dreams, which, like, you know, pretty terrible. Men, power, all the things. What I enjoyed about this book was the 1990s references was so great. The music, the clothes, the brands, like it just throws you into a space of nostalgia. I also found the story to be really, really special. Again, Nikki has this friend group that's really beautiful that kind of reminds her of who she is, especially when she's feeling a little bit self-conscious about the relationship and trying to move magazines, which is kind of how the story ends up progressing, is that she gets the opportunity to work at a smaller magazine and be the editor-in-chief. However, she has 6 months to turn things around, the magazine really like popular and like have it hit all the numbers, or else she's out of a job. So there's a lot of pressure there, but as she's trying to move her through the industry, things have already gotten around about her that are false, and you know, she's trying to figure out how to kind of combat them while also not trying to lose herself, while also being someone that's in their late 20s, early 30s, trying to figure out who they are as a person in their career. So yeah, it was a really, really fun read. I describe it as fun. I listened to the audio and I really enjoyed it, so I definitely recommend that if you're curious. But yeah, this is one I would add to your list too. Next is The Summer Girlfriend by Christina Forrest. This is described as a fake summer fling between a stand-in girlfriend and a handsome business heir becomes way too real in this glittering new romance by USA Today bestselling author Christina Forrest. This one comes out June 9th. I'm super excited about this one. I mean, please take a look at the cover. I think 2026 is the year of good covers. I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I've read a couple of Christina Forrest's books, so very familiar with her writing, and I'm interested to see how this one goes. Next is The Missed Connection by Tia Williams. As y'all know, big Tia Williams fan here. Unsure about how I feel about this cover. Curious how you feel about it. This comes out June 16th, and it's described as an intensely romantic, deliciously sexy tale about a woman searching for her handsome seatmate on a European flight and the unexpected places her hunt for love leads her. Simple as that. I think it's going to be good because I personally love all of Tia Williams's books, except for like 1 or 2. So I'm very interested to see how this one goes. You know, a nice little flight romance could be kind of fun. So yeah, looking forward to that. Next is another memoir, and that is by Brandy, and it's titled Phases. Everybody loves Brandy. Fun fact, when I was younger, I was told that I look like her. I don't know if that still holds. Let me know what you think. Anyways, this one comes out March 31st, and it's described as the iconic multi-platinum Grammy Award-winning performer Brandy brings us a raw, intimate portrait of her life, charting her growth to stardom from Mississippi churches to Hollywood spotlights. Nothing more to say there. I feel like I don't really know if I've ever seen like a biopic or biography about Brandy, so I'm really curious to just know what her life was like prior to stardom. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this memoir. I don't really love celebrity memoirs, so I hope this one is interesting and written well, but we'll see and we'll discuss it, of course. Next is Pool House by Mary H.K. Choi. I love Mary H.K. Choi. It's been a while since I've been able to read, well, since she's written and published anything. I think, what was the last thing was Yoke the last book? I'm not sure, but I read Yoke, I read Permanent Record, I read Emergency Contact. I think those are all the books that she's written. There might be more, but those are the 3 that I read. Love, love, love her books, love her writing. So I'm super excited about this one. Very interesting cover on this one as well. It comes out June 9th and is described as best-selling young adult author Mary H.K. Choi debuts a brilliantly observed adult novel about mothers, daughters, and the complexity of family set against the backdrop of Hollywood. Pool House is a course charted through the wilderness of motherhood, a story about the challenges of navigating class, fame, burgeoning sexuality, and grief as 2 women grapple with what it means to grow up and grow older in Hollywood. I don't know much about growing up in Hollywood at all, except for like all the terrible things that we've seen from child stars. So I'm very interested to see what this book is like. I'm sure, given all the books I've read by her and loved, that I will love this one too, but you know, we'll talk about it regardless. Next is You'll Love It Here by Natalie Sue. Natalie Sue wrote I Hope This Finds You Well, which I loved. That was 2024, I think. Loved that story. This one is described as Mona thought her living situation was bad, but the real mess is just beginning. One day is all it takes for Mona's life to implode. After years of climbing at her marketing firm, she was supposed to be getting promoted and finally moving out of her crumbling apartment building. Instead, she's jobless, aimless, and still stuck in a space barely big enough for a yoga mat. From the best-selling author of I Hope This Finds You Well comes a sharply funny, surprisingly tender novel about a woman stuck in place, her nosy neighbors, and the journey to find where she belongs. Again, this is Natalie's second book, but she has a way of writing characters who live very just kind of like normal lives that you're able to connect with them in a way that you wouldn't think so, because their lives are truly so normal. And this sounds kind of similar to that. So I'm really curious to see how this one goes. It comes out on August 11th, so a little bit of time, but curious nonetheless. Next is The Complex by Karan Mahajan. Unsure about my pronunciation, I do apologize. But this one comes out March 10th and it's described as a brilliant sweeping tour de force moving between the US and modern India, following the illicit liaisons, real estate dramas, political ambitions, and mortal betrayals of one prominent Delhi family. Very curious, very intrigued by the cover, of course. So yeah, this one comes out again in March, so we'll see if I'm able to get to it in that month. Next is American Han by Lisa Lee. This one comes out on March 31st as well, and it is described as both deeply serious and wickedly funny. American Han is a profound story about striving and assimilation, difficult love, and family fidelity. A searing portrait that challenges assumptions about the immigrant experience, Lisa Lee's debut introduces a powerful new voice on the literary landscape. I love stories about assimilation, immigration stories, immigrant stories, so I'm very curious about this one. And it's a debut. I love debut authors, so yeah, looking forward to it. Next is my good sis, Femi Aguda, who wrote Ghost Roots. I love that short collection. It was so good. I wanted so many more stories, and this is, I think, her first novel. Yes, it's titled One Leg on Earth. Again, super cool cover. It comes out on May 5th, and it's described as the lonely daughter of a distant mother, Yosoye, arrives in Lagos ready to change her life. Weeks after she begins an internship at a fancy architectural firm, she discovers she is pregnant. Yosoye is joyful. A new life brings the hope of connection and companionship. But an inexplicable force is haunting the pregnant woman of Lagos. As construction speeds ahead on the firm's glossy new development on land reclaimed from the ocean, stories of the uncanny deaths in the city's open waters reach a fever pitch. Yosoye finds herself stalked by a presence she can neither ignore nor appease, without risking her unborn baby and her precarious hopes for the future. In One Leg on Earth, Femi Aguda turns the question of who belongs in the city into an arresting exploration of what it means to be a mother in an unforgiving world and a haunting vision of the dark side of progress. As I've said before, I love stories about motherhood. I'm really curious about it seems like there's a spirituality aspect to this story, and Ghost Roots is very much so. Lots of spirituality in that one too, so I'm curious to see how Femi kind of approaches that in this novel. So I'm just interested to see how she kind of develops stories in like a longer and deeper way. But yeah, looking forward to this one for sure. Next is Abundance by Hafiz Lakhani, and again, I was intrigued by the cover. Wouldn't you be? Like, look at this. It's really cool. Anywho, this comes out May 5th as well, and is described as 2 generations of a Muslim Indian family family, grapple with what parts of life we control and what we must humbly accept in pursuit of the American dream. No more, no less. Super intrigued to get another immigrant story. I'm intrigued by this cover and how it will connect to the story. Maybe it won't connect at all, but I must know. So yeah, very excited for this one too. Next is another memoir, and that is Backtalker by Kimberly Williams Crenshaw. If you don't know anything about Kimberly Williams Crenshaw, I guess was the right word to say, coined the term intersectionality, and has like a very much so is like at the base of the foundation of critical race theory. So yeah, she's a very big deal. And this memoir is basically, or is described as the intimate story of how her life gave birth to these ideas being critical race theory and intersectionality. So yeah, I'm very curious to know just like what her life story is. All I know is just like her accolades. So yeah, very interested to see who she is, how she grew up, all the things. Next is a book that I was kind of shocked by and I can already tell is going to be really funny. And that is Whiteface by A. Igoni Barrett. Now, A. Igoni Barrett wrote Black Ass, which I read, it's been a couple years. I don't remember what year I read that, but it's been a couple years. Anyways, in Black Ass, our main character wakes up as a white man. He's a black man, but he wakes up as a white man and his whole body is white except for his butt. So we just kind of like follow him on that journey of what it's like to be basically cosplaying a white person. Is cosplaying the correct way to describe that? I don't know. But anyways, Whiteface is the continuation of this man's story. This comes out August 4th and it's described as hilarious, sharp-witted, and moving, each in turn and often all at once. A. Igoni Barrett's Whiteface confronts the absurdities of Europe and the West's idea about the global South, both its xenophobic fear as well as its supposedly beneficent charity. It is a heady and absorbing new novel by the writer Teju Cole called a major talent. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how I feel about the story in general because again, I read Black Ass so many years ago and I remember finding it to be funny and just like ridiculous and kind of interesting. So yeah, I'm curious to see, I guess, the continuation of that story in Whiteface. Next, I think this is the coolest cover of all time, or of the year, I guess. And that is titled Unprecedented Times by Malavika Kannan. Hope I'm saying that right. This one comes out August 18th. It's described as Unprecedented Times captures the beauty, humor, pain, and straight up chaos that exists in relationship between best friends and lovers, mothers and daughters, and between storytellers and themselves. Malavika Kannan's fresh, arresting novel is a testament to the power of self-narrative for Gen Z American women, of writing oneself into existence where no previous script exists. The cover already sold me, but I'm also very curious about just the story in general. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about this one. Needed this one yesterday as well. I can't wait to see the cover in person. Anyways, looking forward to this one for sure. Next is Strange Girls by Sarbat Hassin. Hope I'm saying that right. And this one comes out March 10th and is described as a decade has passed since Ava spoke to Aaliyah. During the years of silence, Ava's life has remained at a standstill while Aaliyah got the one thing they both wanted more than anything: a book deal. Forced back together at a mutual friend's bachelorette in London, Ava returns to Aaliyah's doorstep, desperate to unpack the truth of their shared history and what they meant to each other. Weaving together the friends' past and present, Strange Girls is an ingenious portrait of a fraught friendship and an exploration of the ties forged in the intensity of the college experience and the scars left when they break. Another story about friendship, which again I think is a big theme for this year, but also just books that I personally enjoy reading. So I have a strong feeling that I'm gonna like this one. And again, super cool cover. Next is Galen, I think is how you pronounce it, A Romance in Black by Walter Mosley. This one comes out May 26th and is described as a beautiful coming of age novel from MWA Grandmaster and Pen and Edgar Award winner Walter Mosley that explores love in all forms, romantic, familial, and platonic, centered on one Black family, including a neurodivergent man and the found bonds that helps ground them. I'm kind of curious. I have not, honestly, read a lot of Walter Mosley. I don't think there's any particular reason, I just haven't. So I'm curious to see if he is an author that I'm going to be drawn to through this book. And again, I do love this cover as well, so bonus points on that. Next is Strangers Behind Closed Doors by Catherine Adele West, and this comes out June 9th. It's described as a twisty thriller about a woman who vanishes from a luxury hotel and the detective who believes the case is tied to the unsolved disappearances of other Black women in the city. Again, super curious about this. I'm not a huge thriller person, but I feel like all the thriller books I've read have to deal with Black girls going missing, and it sounds like this is another one. Yeah, so I'm curious about it. Again, I'm not really a huge thriller person, but I'm more curious just about the representation of Black girls and Black women that are missing, and just, you know, the lack of resources that go into finding them. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this story kind of unfolds. But yeah, comes out June 9th. And lastly, I am super excited about this one because I feel like, given everything that's happening in the world, a lot of people are looking for answers. And to me, a lot of the times the answers that we are looking for are in books. And it's important that we kind of read books to understand what is happening now and what we can hope to plan for the future, and how we can fight back and what we're actually fighting. Anywho, the book that I'm looking forward to the most is titled Let the Poets Govern by Kimon Felix. It comes out on March 3rd and is described as, in this part memoir, part manifesto, an acclaimed poet interprets Black radical literary traditions to reimagine freedom through refusal. Even that line alone, I'm like, I feel like it's going to be very timely, very needed, and very important. So I'm very much so looking forward to reading this one as well. So yeah, as you can see, I have quite a few books that I'm looking forward to reading this year. Outside of the books that I talked about in this video, I'm also hoping to kind of dive into my backlist, because I don't even know how many books are on there right now. It is ridiculous. I am starting to feel a little bit like, ooh girl, we need to kind of get these numbers down. We do need to read the books that we already have. So although I'm super excited about the books that I'm going to be getting in the future, I also need to read the books that I already own. And I need to do that by staying true to my TBR. And I must say, for January, I am on a good track for that. Of course, we'll review the books that I read in January together. Maybe in my next video. Yeah, definitely in my next video. But yeah, if you made it this far, I really, really appreciated you, because this one was a long one, very yappy, but there are so many books that I'm super, super excited about. So yeah, if any of these books are on your wish list / TBR, please let me know. If there's any books that you know that are coming out this year that you think I would like, that I should add to my wish list, also let me know as well too. But yeah, I really appreciate you again, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.